Boy, I am pleased with you. I asked you to bring me to safety and that's exactly what you did. Indeed, having a follower to aid me is most efficient and, frankly, pleasing. With you on hand, I shall conquer new horizons, plumb the depths of knowledge hitherto unknown, and scale the dizzying heights of future discoveries.
Nenio stops to catch her breath.
What I mean is, I'd like to express my deepest gratitude. I foresee immense potential in our future cooperation. Hand in hand, we will unravel the greatest mysteries inaccessible to the minds of ordinary people. Just imagine it, I, leading the way, proudly staring into the faces of the gods themselves, and you, my loyal follower, walking behind me every step of the way, writing down my deepest thoughts and admiring the profundity of my intellect. You are the catalyst, which, when it reacts with my intellect, will allow the latter to grasp the very essence of the universe itself. What? Who are you?
Nenio stares at you for a while, bewilderment in her eyes, but then it is replaced by recognition.
Oh, yes, my new follower. So what am I supposed to do? Oh, yes, I must provide some verbal encouragement for your as yet modest achievements and try to induce you to strive for more of such encouragement. That is the principle that underpins any training.
She frowns, but only for an instant.
Ah, I see. Your modest nature was unsettled by the overabundance of my gratitude. I do apologize for putting you in such an awkward position. I will never praise you again. Unless I forget. But let's get back to the business at hand. Your new assignment will be to take me to the inconspicuous ruins that are located in an even more inconspicuous valley lying between Kenebras and Drazen, as soon as is reasonably practicable. I'll mark the place on your map with a large red cross, so you won't forget it. I'm glad you asked. This is my greatest hypothesis, my secret project, and I won't pass up the opportunity to share it with you, because you are my most loyal follower, and you are worthy of possessing such knowledge.
Nenio rubs her nose.
And also because you are the first person to ever ask me about it. Some time ago I was walking around the border of the world wound and I met a strange person. He was wearing a frayed grey robe and his face was hidden behind an odd white mask. Of course, I didn't miss the opportunity to ask him about the reasons for his absurd appearance, and do you know what he said to me? He said, I am the answer, but what is the question? Then he walked off in the direction of the world wound. The next day, after I had already forgotten about the first encounter, I had another similar encounter. This time I met an elven woman, judging by the pointy ears sticking out from behind the mask. I am the answer, but what is the question, she said, before taking off toward the world wound. And then I realized. Everything became clear to me. I know a mystery when I see one. Consider this one of my myriad talents.
Nenio rubs the tip of her nose.
After all these geysers weren't simply on their way to a costume party, were they? After examining several maps, I determined that they were all heading in one direction, to a place not far from Kenebras, a place which is marked as nameless ruins even on ancient Sarkorian maps. That's where I need to go. Unraveling the secret of that place will be my greatest discovery. It will secure my place in history, or perhaps even in legend. Do you know how to find a beehive in a forest? You need to catch 2 bees, set them free in 2 different locations of the forest, and remember the directions they fly in. Then you take a map and draw lines showing the bees' routes. The place where the lines intersect will mark the location of the beehive. Fascinating, yes? By the way, forest bees do not make any honey.
Nenio sighs.
I used the beehive principle here too. For a couple of months, I tracked the strange people in the masks and observed the direction in which they were traveling. I collected the coordinates, mapped their estimated routes, and made a discovery. All the routes intersected at the nameless ruins not far from Kenebras. I haven't the slightest idea. If I knew what was hidden there, I wouldn't be so eager to go.
Nenio's eyes seem ready to pop out of their sockets in surprise.
Don't you see? This is a legendary secret place. Who knows what may happen to me after I lift the veil and uncover the workings of the universe. My mortal body may be unable to contain all that knowledge, or perhaps I will ascend and become equal to the gods themselves. I need you to write down everything that happens and report my fate to the interested parties in Absalom. And don't forget to praise me as I deserve while you're there.
For more than 4,000 years, Absalom has been the city at the center of the world, a metropolis-sized showcase of the greatest treasures on all Golarion. The city not only holds a key strategic position for both commercial and military endeavors in the region, but encompasses the site of the ascension of 4 deities and claims to have been founded by none other than the last Aslanti, the god Oread. Nenio shrugs.
In that case, we'll write this experiment off as a failure and start another one. I don't know which experiment I'll try next. Well, now you know. So, off we go.
Nenio frowns.
Did I just make a rhyme? Perhaps I've discovered poetic talent in myself? Let's conduct an experiment. Quickly, say any word and I'll try to find a rhyme for it right away. Crustacean. Cogitation. Not the best rhymes, don't you think? Well, this experiment was unsuccessful. We learned that I have no poetic talent after all.
Nenio sighs.
But it's no reason to despair. Having a gift of poetry in addition to my inexhaustible intelligence would have been a little too much. Besides, I am catastrophically busy, and have no time to spend on writing poetry. I am an explorer, a pilgrim, a yet-to-be-recognized scientific luminary, future author of the Encyclopedia Golarionica, and rector of all Absalom's universities at once. Future rector, I should say.
Nenio speaks in one breath, as if reeling off a practiced monologue.
That information should be enough to satisfy your curiosity, because I doubt I will be able to tell you more than that. You see, the brain of any given individual can contain only a limited amount of facts. I only expend my memory on things that are truly important. The laws of thermodynamics, divine esoterica, planar geography, things that will lead Golarion to a brighter future.
Nenio rubs her nose.
Besides, what if I make a great discovery, but I won't be able to remember it because my memory is full of outdated or useless information? What a nightmare that would be. What a loss for the whole of Golarion. That information is irrelevant. I've decided to forget it. That information is irrelevant. I've decided to forget it.
Nenio casts a sidelong glance at her shoulder.
Oh, that. I do not remember the circumstances of its creation, but I like it. I prefer to think of it as a zero, null, nothing. A center point, an origin of coordinates. It reminds me how much of the unknown world there is to explore. That information is irrelevant. I've decided to forget it. This is just one of my many talents. The secret is to stop thinking about the thing you want to forget. And the main thing is not to remember anything you don't need. To filter it. To get right to the essence. I'll teach you someday. Unless I forget. All of it is irrelevant on the grand scale of world history. I have no reason to remember such things.
Nenio stays silent and gives you a puzzled look.
What? What were we talking about? The Encyclopedia Golarionica will be published in 100 volumes, 1,000 pages each, plus the author's addenda, appendices added by future CO authors, and critical commentaries. Addenda indexation is still in question.
Nenio looks slightly embarrassed.
I just like the number 100. But I'm not sure that I'll be able to keep within the established word limit. It will be a magisterial piece of scholarship that will become a part of the mandatory curriculum of every educational institution worth mentioning. In it, I intend to describe every object, item, event, fact, and personality that is present on or at least somehow related to Golarion. My calculations show that I have completed no more than 1% of this monumental book. What were we talking about?
Nenio produces a crumpled piece of paper from her sleeve and takes some notes on it.
This conversation lasted approximately 5 minutes.
She lifts her chin.
By the way, did you know that is the exact same amount of time the Inquisitors of Kenebras need to find a defendant guilty? But to shake off Inquisitors chasing you takes 5 times as long. That experiment proved that running while clad in heavy armor is not burdensome for them at all.
Oh. Hey there. Just the lad I wanted to talk to your health, by the way. Ulbrich sips from his beer mug. I asked around about this here city, and about the whole hubbub, who you lot are fighting and why. And the more I hear, the less I understand. So, no Hapia, huh? He chuckles. You pulled my leg good there, I'll give you that. But the rest of these city folk are no better, they told me things that made my head spin. Everyone, from the tavern keeper to a knight, is giving me the same hokum. They all say Sarkoris was burned to the ground by a bunch of Oglins 100 years ago. And Kenebras, that God's forsaken village the size of a pig's snout, was turned into this massive fortress to defend against him. Which means I must have slept for 100 years and didn't notice a thing. So what am I to make of this? Am I the barmy one or is it everyone else? Or maybe we've all been bewitched by Fae and are living in the yarn they're spinning. Talk about a doozy. Ulbrich scratches his beard. Oh, that's right. I had a question of my own to ask you. Explain to me plain and simple, back when we first met, what was that all about? How did I end up in that fortress with all the books? Why did I wake up right when you came? This is horse feathers. Yeah, and dragons jump out of every bush when you walk by. And whenever you see a beer keg, you're too scared to open it, you never know when there might be a kraken inside, heh. Alright, now for some serious talk. There, I've asked them all. Just answer already, I'm all ears. Destiny. That's rich. He sighs. Look, let's be clear here. You're a fine lad, and anyone would be lucky to have you. But it just won't work for the two of us, all we'll do is bruise each other's heart. So don't you give me this talk about destiny, save it for a younger man than me. Right, so what was it you wanted to ask about? I'll tell you this, Sarkoris isn't a country, Sarkoris is a whole world. Just imagine, a lynx standing at the edge of snowy woods in the north. Perch splashing in the Selen in the east. Furry bumblebees buzzing over the blooming hills of the south. And everywhere you look, there are people, the likes of which you won't find anywhere in the world. They are the bravest in battle and the fleetest in dance. Hundreds of tribes, each with its own legends, songs, heroes, gods, and spirits. Now, you tell me, could a land like that really have perished because of a few grasshoppers? I won't believe it. Ever. Alright, now your turn, where do you hail from? Who's your tribe? Well, I won't judge. I don't think I could live like that. Alone, without a soul to call dear, how is that living? I was the chieftain. And not by right of blood, like in some tribes. It takes more than being born in the right family to lead the Olesks, you have to earn that right from our divine patron. Erebor, the heavenly griffin, chose me. Ulbrich chuckles mirthlessly. Except, as you can see, it didn't do my clan much good. The chieftain's duty is to be with their people, in peace and in war, in life and in death. And what did I do? Abandon them, there's no two ways about it. I missed everything. I slept through everything. Erebor, the griffin whose beak has marked the sun and whose talons have raked the moon. Ulbrich crosses his arms in a ritual gesture. He is the ancient protector of our clan. From each generation, he chooses one who is worthy of wielding his power and leading his tribe. But ever since I woke up here, he hasn't spoken to me once. No prophetic dreams, no answers, no signs, his power is still with me, so he must be alive. Then why is he silent? He shakes his red mane helplessly. Our clan is one of the oldest. Our history goes back to a time before Sarkoris was settled, when our ancestors lived in the mountains in the far north. Once their mountain home had become too small for them, they went down to the untrodden hills and forests of the south, drove out the monsters and the giants, and founded Sarkoris. Even back then, the Olesks were the first into every battle and the first to build a settlement on their land. People wrote so many songs about our deeds that if I were to start singing them all to you now, we'd be stuck here for a good month. Who routed the Orcish invaders? Who seduced the Fey Queen and stole her tiara? Whose apples are the size of a hair, and whose cider made from those apples can knock a bear out? That's right, it's all us, the Olesks. Ha ha ha, oh, you're a laugh. You're saying giants are people? Have you seen one with your own eyes? They can't even speak our tongue, they just growl and fart. They may look like humans, but they're dumber than frogs. All they know is eating and fighting. They feast on human flesh, I'll have you know. So don't feel bad for those freaks, our ancestors were right to cut 'em down. I'm always up for a chat, especially when there's still beer to be drunk. Soft grass underfoot to you. Staunton greets you with a dour nod. What about it? The dwarf's tone makes it clear that he has no interest in your answer. That's what they all say. Staunton shrugs indifferently.
Aside. Sneaking.
You can trust me.
Don't know, don't care.
Skip over pleasantries.
Oh, me?
I agree.
Missed me already.
Make way!
Please get me out of here! I can hear your footsteps. Pull me out! Hello? Hello? Is anyone there? Please, get me out of here! I can hear your footsteps. Pull me out! Hello?
Free at last. I thought I'd be flattened like a pancake under that rubble. Much obliged. Damn, I'm not in any pain, but my head is still foggy for some reason. What's with all the hubbub in the city? The name's Finian. I'm a Pathfinder. If there's anything I can do to help, I will.
The Pathfinder Society is a globe-spanning organization based in Absalom. The membership consists primarily of Pathfinders, adventurers who travel throughout Golarion, usually inconspicuously, and explore, delve, and otherwise experience the lesser-seen parts of the world. They send journals documenting their travels back to their venture captains, who also assign them new missions and suggest new places to explore. The most exciting and illuminating of these journals are compiled in the Pathfinder Chronicles, an ongoing series of books that collect the history and mystery of Golarion for its membership and the general public.
Wait, what? The last thing I saw was some thieves breaking in here. And then the guards came, everyone was running around. After that, it's a bit of a blur. Right when things got intense, they dropped the cabinet on me. I couldn't even help the owner. I was just lying under the shelves like a dimwit until you came along. If there are demons in Kenebras, we must do something about it. The city needs every blade it can get. Hey, do you mind taking me with you? I don't think I can handle this alone. And besides, the more the merrier. I've been waiting here so long I don't even remember anymore. Just sitting and waiting for any word from the Pathfinders, but it looks like everyone has forgotten about me. The shop owner is an old friend of the Pathfinders, so I've taken up residence here. That's right, Finian Dismar, Pathfinder and Crusader. I roam around the world wound wherever my tasks lead me. Scouting mostly, but this last while I've just been hanging around in Kenebras, waiting until I'm needed again. I'm bored out of my mind, but at least this shop makes for better lodging than some inn. What's that supposed to mean? I just told you. You want to know where I hail from, is that it? Well, I'm from around here, actually. We Kelets of the Star-Eye clan fled when the World Wound troubles began. But I couldn't stand by while the demons wreaked havoc, so I came back. Or did you mean to ask about my weapon of choice? My best weapon is every weapon. I'm a skilled and capable fellow, if I do say so myself. I can swing a sword and poke with a spear, but what I am best at is communing with the spirits. They call folks like me Phantom Blades. It's like a spiritualist, but with a twist. It means that some spirit took a liking to me at some point, and it can turn into whatever weapon I need. Handy, eh? I don't need any whetstones or enchantments. Doesn't take up space either. Although, to be fair, it's not a barrel of laughs. The spirits that bestow this kind of power don't come from happy places, and they're not exactly bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. They usually appear after great battles that leave few survivors. I swear you won't regret it. I can do all sorts of things. Is there anything your party is missing? A sword, a spear, a bow? Just say the word.
I don't need anyone's sympathy. How much longer, I wonder?
The formerly well-appointed shop now looks a sorry state, it has been completely ransacked. Lying in the corner next to a scorched wall are the soot-covered shards of a clay golem's head. The golem's eyes glow in the gloom. Master, code word. Code word, incorrect. Code word, correct. The golem's eyes glow brighter. Awaiting orders. This golem was created by Gafrain and Son. Address, 3rd building on the right, Jewelers Alley, Nerosian, Mendef. Model G504ENE, which stands for Experimental and Enhanced. For all inquiries, contact Mr. Gafrain. The golem is silent for a moment. 56 individuals entered the shop. Human female, old. Gnome male, old. Human female. He'll be reeling off customers till nightfall. We need to ask it in a different way. The golem is silent for a while. Tieflings. 3. Tiefling male, middle-aged. Tiefling male, young. Tiefling female, young. Tiefling male. Medium height. Short horns curling backward. Medium length tail. Eye color, yellow. Hair color, black. Special observations, annoyed master. Horns, hair, tail, that sounds like me. But it's not possible. I know what the security's like here, I didn't come near the place. I give you my word, Chief. No special observations. Subject was unremarkable. There, see, can't have been me. Tiefling male. Medium height. Long horns. Medium length tail. Eye color, pale blue. Skin color, dark. Special observations, red hair. Oh. That's our trader, I'd bet your life on it. Charisma drilled it into our heads that we wasn't to go hanging about the shop. Red hair, we've got a couple of gingers. And plenty more who get it out of a bottle. So much for a special observation. Golems ain't all they're cracked up to be, eh? Maybe its master knows more. Tiefling female. Above average height. Hair, long, pale. Tail not observed. Long horns. Eye color, blue. Special observations, scar on nose, baldric with gold stitching. I don't know that one, a new arrival most likely. Gold stitching, wouldn't mind getting to know her a little better. The golem is silent, waiting for an order. Filman Froliatros, my master, is in his hiding place. Revealing the location of the hiding place is prohibited. 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 He likely holed himself up in the basement when the commotion started. The entrance should be around here somewhere. The basement is below me. I guard the basement. Leaving my post is prohibited.
Well, it's done. Follow me! Or don't.
The elderly gnome, so portly as to be nearly spherical, is curled up in the corner of the basement, shaking. Marauders. Bandits. scavengers. And a very good day to you as well, my dear shopkeep. The gnome's hands scrabble around on the floor, seemingly in search of something to hurl at you. The Eagle Watch have probably caught up with the bandits by now. And you won't get off lightly either, you can be sure of that. The gnome notices Woljif and his rounded face turns scarlet. You. Woljif, the dirty little sneak thief. You've been sniffing around my shop for years, finally worked up the courage to rob me, did you? Get out of here. You and your pals have taken everything already, I'm sure. The gnome seems to settle slightly. My name's Filman Froliatros. I was the owner of this shop, but I'm not sure I can claim to be the owner of anything now. I hope there's at least something left of it. Oh, come off it. Your shop's fine. It's a bit ransacked, maybe. But nothing a bit of spit and polish can't fix. Why should I tell you anything about my customers? You're not from the City Guard or the Eagle Watch. Chief, if he keeps digging his heels in, just say the word, I know how to loosen his tongue. Do you think I robbed my own shop? I was here, in the basement. I was told to make it look like I'd left. The Watch was very keen to get their hands on those thieflings, they seem to be multiplying all over Golarion. So, of course, I did everything they said, and I've been stuck in this basement since then. The golem wouldn't move away from the door, no matter how much I yelled at it. But then I thought that it was all to the good. Somebody came by after the guards and caused a ruckus upstairs, bellowing like mad, taking advantage of my absence. Persuade him how? I ain't even gonna try. I'm just gonna let him have a little chat. Woljif erupts in blue flame and the shadow of a winged demon with claws grows behind him. With the devourer demon from the depths of the abyss. Filman recoils in terror, covering his head with his hands. I'll tell you. I'll tell you everything. Yes, I really did kick that pup, but I didn't know it going flying halfway across the yard. The blue flame and the shadow vanish. Pup? What pup? Tieflings. Tell us about the tieflings. Filman's face wrinkles in distaste. Woljif Jefto, right. Yes, I've known him a long time, though I'd rather not know him at all. He's been skulking around my shop for years, treating the place like a free museum. He always wanted to look at the moon of the abyss. I'd chase him out, but he'd just slink back in again. If he was with the gang that robbed my shop, I'll bet anything he swiped the moon. How come I'm the prime suspect? Whoever betrayed us all, that's the one who's got the moon. I want to see it return to, you get me? I don't like the idea of other people's grubby mitts on it. Filman falls to thinking. A red-haired tiefling, I suppose, yes, there was one who came in, spent a long time looking around. He was a person of modest means, I could tell by his clothes, but he asked me to show him an Edisi Marmaid chainmail, he certainly couldn't afford it. That's when I suspected that something was off. I checked everything after he left, but nothing was missing, and that put my mind at ease. I can't remember what he looked like. I didn't get a good look at his face. All I remember is that he was wrapped in a green cloak like he was freezing. But that's all I have. That's it. With that description, we'll surely sniff him out. Come on, Chief, back to Sister Charisma we go to have a good, long shifty at all my brothers and put all these clues together. Something tells me our traitor isn't gonna wriggle out of this one. Filman scratches his chin. A tiefling woman, ah, yes, I remember now. A noble lady, unlike the tiefling ruffians we have around here. She purchased magical equipment for the crusade, and she promised to come again. If only all tieflings were like that, I'd be laughing all the way to the bank. If that isn't enough to help you catch the thieves, then I don't know what else to tell you. Now be on your way and leave me in peace with my wreck of a shop. Charisme drums her fingers nervously on the handle of her blade.
Well? Are you going to tell me who the traitor is? The name and the moon of the abyss that they stole, I don't need anything else.
Charisme shrugs.
And what? We all made a pact, everyone for themselves, we'll meet up at the arranged time and place. If they were dumb enough to crawl into some hole in the ground, that's their lookout. I'm not their nanny.
The tieflings are tense and ready to reach for their weapons. The only redheads are Melrown and Daffy. The dark-skinned tieflings are Varnir, Daffy, and Melrown. Daffy, Melrown, and Tavi have straight horns, but Tavi is female. Only Varnir and Melrown have green cloaks. Well, go on, tell her. Charisme looks weary, but her earlier tension has clearly lifted.
He confessed. Someone connected to the cult of Baphomet ordered him to steal the moon of the abyss, and the best idea he could come up with was to drag us into it. He got the scroll to take out the golem, he betrayed us to Erebeth so that he could swipe the amulet in the chaos. He thought we'd get nicked and he'd slink off to meet up with his customer.
You've got the moon of the abyss. Let me look at it one more time. My whole life I've dreamt of holding it in my hands, if only for a second.
He said when he got to the window display, the moon was gone. He's lying, of course. He had time to hand the moon off to the person who ordered it. Bloody cultists. I don't really give a toss. I'm just glad we got to the bottom of this.
Charisme nonchalantly picks at her nails with her knife tip.
He'll be sent to visit his distant relatives on their farm. To think about what he did. Any more questions? Clear out of this place. The sooner, the better. This city's dying, I don't want to die with it. This city would have already died, if not for the people who stood up to defend it with weapons in their hands. So, defend it, I'm not stopping you. It's your city. But we've always been outsiders here, why would we fight for you now? Good decision. I don't plan to hang around long either.
Charisme turns to leave. Sister. Woljev nervously bites his lip. His cheeks are flushed and his tail is swishing through the air. You forgot something.
What now? You should be happy to be alive.
An apology. You promised to apologize to me, loudly, in front of everyone. We're alone now, but I still want to hear it. Well.
That.
Charisme shrugs indifferently.
So, sorry, I suppose, for being wrong about you, this time. Don't think that just because you didn't act like a jerk this one time that it cancels out the rest of your record. I know all about you. Till next time, Woljev.
Woljev watches her go, his tail relaxing. Better than nothing. Listen, Chief, when you've got a spare minute, come see me, I've something I want to discuss with you. But for now, let's get out of here. I don't like sitting below ground when the building above is ready to crash down on our heads.
I am helpful, am I not?
Balance, 2,500 gold. Dafi, alchemical tools and reagents, 185 gold. Dalna, violin, antique, needs appraisal, 10 gold taken out. Woljif, magic scrolls, 420 gold. Tavi, working the square, 15 gold. Note, I bet the swindler got 5 times the amount and pocketed the difference. I need to give that rogue a good scare next time. Charisma, 80 gold taken out, informers, contacts, other expenses. Dafi, working the market, 25 gold. Melround, 70 gold taken out for tool replacement. Tavi, spices, 370 gold. Krima, magic rings, 250 gold. Gord, handbound books, 180 gold. Appraiser, the violin is worth 5 gold. Note, do not send Dalna on a job by herself. Charisma, 400 gold taken out, informers, contacts, other expenses. Charisma, 1000 gold taken out, informers, contacts, other expenses. Balance, 2,390 gold. Here, the handwriting changes drastically, the letters are now small, scrawly, and hectic. Balance, 2,390 gold. But there's only 1,500 in the chest. Some shithead got their hands on my treasury. I bet my horns it's Woljif, that rotten mug. Next time I see that bloody swine, he's going to the farm. Ah, there you are. At last. You certainly took your time. I thought perhaps you got lost on the way here. I was already regretting not drawing you a map. Horgus's relief is palpable even through his grousing. It's a tragedy to see one's house in such a sorry state. And I always had a few guards in my service, you know. I hope those blockheads died honorably, and didn't simply flee at the first sign of danger. Horgus turns toward the corridor with a pensive expression on his face. My manor, you see, contains several items that are of great value to me. I wish to retrieve them before they are discovered by my fellow citizens, who in the current chaos seem have taken to thieving and marauding like ducks to water. So here's what I want you to do, take a stroll through my house, peek into the rooms, and if you find anyone, kill them on the spot. That'll teach any other opportunists to stay away from Horgus Worm's manor. While I was standing here by the entrance, I could clearly hear the sound of someone rooting around inside. Any possessions of mine you find in there, you can keep. It's all as good as lost to me anyway. When you're sure the house is empty, give me a signal from my study window. Wave a torch around or something like that. You can decide when you get there. This should be good. I'm always up for poking around a fancy manor. I've done many things in my life, but playing the part of an intrepid mercenary rummaging through someone else's tastelessly decorated and poorly planned mansion is a novelty to me. How droll. I deeply regret that you had to participate in this, my dear Count. Come now, I love a good caper. Even when the setting offends my aesthetic sensibilities. The very notion. You think I hire guards to do my bidding, just so I can put myself in danger along with them? No, no, no. I've taken on my fair share of risk already today.
But all the same, you took the risk of coming here even though you were well aware of the danger. What is it that draws you here so strongly, like a moth to a flame?
Camellia, that's enough.
Oh, it seems I hit a sore spot.
She quickly covers the smile that flits across her face. Well, get on with it. Or are you waiting for a special order? I shall await your signal. Horgus pauses. And good luck in there, I suppose.
Oh, quiet now. But how will they know I've arrived?
Make way. I appreciate privacy. Now what?
Something wrong?
Don't care.
Yes, mostly.
I'm always open to ideas.
I don't need anyone's sympathy.
Esmo, Axis, yes.
Done.
Are we ready to move out?
Don't mind me.
What's in your mind? I wonder.
more muscle. The light, take you! The Inheritor, guide my blade! Yes.
I prefer the company of me, myself, and I. Friendship's overrated anyway.
Argoon was knocked flat. He laid gasping, arms spread, a lump of rage rising in his throat. He remembered his dream. Black soil, red ravens in the empty sky, their coarse croaks ringing in his ears, like a taunt. Coral would never take Rostland. Never. Aldori sprang to his feet, as if the blood-soaked soil was driving him forward. With a cry of rage, the Sword Lord rushed into the battle. The sky turned scarlet with blood, as he furiously chopped off his enemies' heads. The scarlet horizon drew closer, and its roar nearly drowned out the sound of battle. Argoon looked to the sky, and a fiery blast descended upon him. These were no ravens that circled above him. The fearsome breath of the red dragons of coral melted the soldier's armor and turned living flesh to ash and dust. Until recently, we knew this world as it was described in books and stories. A sewer, torn apart by hyenas that separate us with nations and borders, oppress us with extortion and lies, and assert their authority and power. However, someone else's hand rules these slaves who act like masters. It's a threat far more intimidating than a handful of arrogant fools. Our lands are secretly ruled by the most ancient creatures of Golarion, the inhabitants of the Everdark Depths, who know both past and future. People are led along paths they cannot see, and do not have the power to leave, to an end known only to the hidden masters. Some insist that the signs are purely coincidental, but they point to a vast conspiracy. Only a fool can fail to see how the myriad coincidences weave into a great cobweb. Or they have submitted their very will and sworn their allegiance to our unseen masters in the depths. Can a mortal become a god? Is the very idea blasphemy? Science relies on experience, where there may be evidence presented in support. But when science encounters theology, it recoils. The term evolution has no application to the divine spark that illuminates dull matter in incomprehensible ways. The foremost example is angels, to whom we owe the existence of our virtuous mortal souls, which brings us to a paradox. A mortal soul transforms into an immortal essence. There are many such breathtaking events, which each promise a connection to the divine. Sunny Serenray is perfect proof of this. The Starstone trial desecrated divinity, turned it into a god's exam, where any trickster with a handful of spells who can avoid some traps in a deadly maze, may rise to divinity. Is the nature of divinity, then, so sacred indeed? I take a deep breath and stand still. I long to absorb every moment of joy, inhale the evaporation of someone else's soul from their thickening blood. The border between reality and dream fades. It seems that everyone beyond the wall can hear the throbbing in my head, but it's only my fantasy. A ringing silence fills the room. The fifth sacrifice has been made. My mistress, the most beautiful of goddesses, will be happy. I will take care of everything. Fragrant flowers, cut at the climax of their beauty, are now a part of the masterpiece, which is worthy of Shellin herself. So what if the narrow-minded priests rejected me and my gift? I serve the never-fading rose herself, not the worms that bite into her stem and suck at her life-giving juices. It won't be long now before I finish my job. I've already found the material. Her eyes are gray, and hair is dark blonde. She is fading into the dirt. I will rewrite her destiny. It is perhaps Avistan's most popular dish. In the capital of Keliox, it is baked in a cheese crust and sprinkled with lemon juice. The local fishermen use a different cooking method in Katara, which is on the opposite end of Avistan. There you will find it finely chopped and mixed cold ingredients. The exact origin of the dish remains unknown, but it is generally believed to have been invented in Andoran, and spread around the globe by seafarers and pilgrims. It's served as plain pâté in its most basic version. To prepare it, soak the herring in spiced marinade, then mince it into a spreadable paste. Add a mashed tart green apple, hard-boiled quail eggs, the freshest butter you can find, and half an onion. The list of ingredients may vary in the inland regions. In the region of Nirmathas, beef or lamb is used for this snack. I once tasted a highly original and equally highly disgusting version cooked with milk and mushrooms on the border of Druma. Imagine this: a girl, whose name I shall not disclose, comes to town and immediately purchases the most expensive suburban villa. This newcomer spends unfathomable amounts on charity, even returning several tragically perished citizens to life at her own expense. She's very young, her rough speech and manners indicate that she's not of noble birth. This leaves the whole town wondering, how did this young lady come into possession of such a huge fortune, and why does she spend it so eagerly? Those secrets were revealed to me when I was invited to the mysterious girl's house to provide healing services. The young lady reluctantly displayed something she'd been hiding from everyone: terrible acid burns. She forestalled any questions with a single word: Ilthuliak. The monstrous black dragon's name was well known in the river kingdoms. She'd lived in the region for hundreds of years, inspiring terror and emptying settlements. Many experienced dragon hunters attempted to put a stop to her, and all perished. No one knew where Ilthuliak's lair was, or where she would strike next. The wounds Ilthuliak's acid breath left on my patient's body were terrible, but her soul was hurt much worse. The girl and her friends had found the lair of the dragon. They could have gathered hunters to destroy the monster, but they instead kept silent in search of profit. When the lair's mistress was absent, they would carry treasure out, little by little. Ilthuliak suspected something was happening, so she set an ambush for the thieves, and they were dealt with cruelly. My patient pretended to be dead, surviving while the dragon devoured the bodies of her friends. She had much gold left at her disposal, but it came with the burden of memories that recalled devastated cities and countless people burned by acid. Unable to tolerate the guilt, the girl tried to atone for ill-gotten gains with good deeds. I was able to heal her physical wounds. When we parted, she told me she planned to spend the rest of her wealth organizing an expedition to Ilthuliak's lair to end the beast. I recently heard rumor that the villa has been abandoned for quite some time now. It's possible the owner left for other lands, but my heart tells me her bones lie in the lair of Ilthuliak, that winged terror and plague to the river kingdoms. A long time ago, in a time before remembering, there was a furious god known as Ravagug, a terrible giant worm with 1,000 teeth and claws. He devoured every world in his path, one after another. But the great gods were displeased with the beast, and delivered unto Ravagug their scourge. Many laid down their feuds to combine forces, mighty Torug, brilliant Serenre, vicious Asmodeus, crafty Calistria, cold-blooded Pharasma, and many others. Together, they faced Ravagug as he arrived to swallow Golarion. The goddess of the sun, Serenre, forbade Ravagug's death, and so the gods imprisoned the fiend deep in the ground, shackled and sleeping. Asmodeus himself would keep the keys to his bonds. The terrible monster remains there still, asleep in his prison. Whenever Ravagug rolls over in his sleep and scratches his back against his prison walls, the earth trembles, and volcanoes spit fire. "It's done," I said. Milliken studied me with narrowed eyes. "You look awfully clean," he said. "Where's the knife?" In answer, the first shouts went up from the inn. "Fire!" screamed Ilna, and then other voices joined hers. In an instant, Milliken's entrepreneurial instincts took over, and he sprang for the door, tossing the crossbow aside. Outside, the roof of the inn was already smoking oily black against the sunset, flame licking through the thatching in places. With a scream of pain, Milliken ran for the creek. I looked to Fargas. Needing no further cue, we each grabbed up armfuls of supplies and sprinted off in the opposite direction. After 10 minutes of leaped brambles and ducked branches, we stopped to catch our breath. Back the way we'd come, the smoke was still visible, though the sounds had faded to just the faint and frantic pealing of a church bell. "That was close," Fargas said, leaning against a tree and breathing hard. "Agreed," I puffed, staring down at the cloak full of bread that now made up our sole possessions. Then the sound of the bell reminded me of something. "About what you said back there?" I asked. "You said Shellin. I thought you were a priest of Desna." Fargas grunted. "A man's faith is a personal thing," he said, tying up the cloak. "Now shut up and keep running." And we did. Will-o-wisp. An amusing glowing ball, which looks harmless and doesn't arouse any natural suspicion. Pretends to be a guiding light in the marshes, but leads travelers to certain death. The agonizing fear of their victims is this monster's nourishing dinner. If you manage to resist their tricks, make sure you have some lightning protection. The monster shocks any visitors it fails to lure into terror. Werewolf. Werewolves prefer to hunt in groups, and attack lone travelers. It's entirely possible that a Varetian camp or troop could turn into a pack of bloodthirsty lycanthropes under cover of darkness. Ordinary weapons stand little chance against them, but a silver blade greatly increases your chances of survival. Primals. Powerful creatures of the primal realm occasionally visit this world for amusement. It's best to stay out of a primal's way. Don't fight it, it's extremely dangerous. But if a life is at stake, resort to cold steel. By Berthimmel from Pitax. The Sharp Word Publishing Company. For dinner, the wounded were served cabbage soup. This didn't surprise them in the slightest. They'd had the same dish for dinner for a week. The hospital's residents used to be lucky enough to get potatoes and even turnips sometimes. But about a month ago, the Knights of the Order of the Thrice Holy Shining Sun and Dissipating Darkness Scimitar of our beloved goddess Serenre accidentally shot a catapult the wrong direction, and annihilated the cart of the farmer who supplied the hospital with these vegetal delicacies. Ever since, the wounded only had cabbage soup for dinner, occasionally with a bit of protein when the odd cockroach crawled into the pot. After enjoying their delightful meal, the wounded stuffed their smoking pipes with something which rather more resembled hay than tobacco. Their bad habits demanded the inhalation of some smoke or other after mealtime, but with these practical matters happily resolved, they fell to talking. "Which demon you think is the most dangerous?" asked Wuzlik the spearman, scratching the stub of his leg with the stub of his arm. "I think it's a Bracandylus. Those monsters are cunning and sneaky, almost like Varishians. And their teeth are even sharper. Look." He illustrated his point for his comrades by holding up his remaining fingers, 2.5 of them. "It depends the way you look at it," answered Gregly the artillerist, though she could hardly look at it at all, her eyes were covered with bandages. "Your Bracandylus are easy pickings. But Balors are a different thing. He hits you with his whip, and your eyes pop out." She waved her pipe energetically, casting its contents into Wuzlik's face. While the latter was coughing and brushing himself off, Brigi joined the conversation. "Balors and Bracandylus are all right, I suppose, but I'd say there isn't a demon in the world scarier than a regular louse. Of course, the other demons can teleport places, but the louse doesn't even need to do that. Wherever you look, it's already there." Then he stuck his hand under his shirt, pulled out the subject of his speech from somewhere in his armpit, and demonstrated it to his friends. "You can run away from a big demon with a whip, but who can run away from lice? They sting everyone, from the foot soldier to the general. Even the queen herself isn't immune. Now you might say it doesn't do much harm. After all, how much blood can one louse drink? But I'm telling you, think how much soldiers' blood they've drunk all together. It's got to be a whole sea, wouldn't you think? More than all the demons in the abyss. And if anyone tells me a louse isn't a demon, then ha-ha to them. Could a monster like that come from anywhere besides the abyss?" A story recorded by Tullius Mara, from the words of Warren, a peasant from the village of Dark Fords. Want to know why they call old Hentei the Crusader? This is what happened. Augur the farmer died, leaving 3 sons. The 2 older ones divided the land and lived their lives, and Hentei, the youngest one, was a square peg in a round hole, as they say. He only knew how to bask under a tree and eat pies. What was he to do? Where could he apply himself? So he got a rusty old sword from the blacksmith's backyard, mounted his skinny horse, and rode off, over the hills and far away. Sooner or later, he came to a castle. Inside it, there was a knight's wife, sitting around waiting for her husband to return from the crusades. So our Hentei sat down next to her, saying, "Fair lady, your husband is a great man, and you deserve all compassion. I am a crusader myself, and used to fight the horrible spawn of the world wound," and so on he rambled. He sat behind the stone walls for a month, gained 10 pounds, became even more well-groomed, and in the end looked like a baron. But he grew bored of the knight's wife. She was always pale and sad, and cried for days, praying to Serenre. So Hentei waved her goodbye and went on his way. He rode, and saw a mill on a river, and a miller's wife, rosy cheeks, plump as a partridge. Our Hentei cozied up to her, saying, "Lady Miller's wife, does your husband happen to be at home?" "No, my good sir, last year the Fae dragged him into the river," she said. So Hentei invited himself to stay at the mill. He lay on a soft bed, eating pies, drinking beer, and walking around the village. He had some nerve, told everyone at the village tavern what a seasoned crusader he was. He feared no demon, and promised to show them what's what. So one moonlit night, when he was huffing and puffing on the widow, he felt her grabbing his back so strongly that he couldn't stand it. He looked down, and there she was, a crone, horrible, like a skeleton, with a crooked nose, eyes like embers, a hollow stomach, ribs sticking out, and claws instead of nails, stinking of a ripened grave. Try as he might, Hantei couldn't get away. The crone held him tight, hissing, "Where are you going, my sweet crusader? Come on, put your bun in my oven." And she stuck out her long tongue, and licked her rotten teeth. Somehow Hantei wiggled away, leaving plenty of his skin and meat on her claws. He ran from the mill in a panic. Ran all the way to the village, naked and bleeding. So, he's running and yelling, "Demons! Demons!" Well, the locals gathered with their axes and pitchforks, and came to the mill, but it was empty. The crone was gone. They did find an ugly corpse in the basement, though. They knew it was the miller's wife, by her hair and clothes. That's when Hantei lost his mind. Now he sits under his brother's windows, staring into the distance, saying, "The demons are coming, the demons are coming." That's the only thing he'll say. For the third night in a row, I've dreamt of the grey gardeners knocking at my door. I cannot believe it is my turn to be cut down by a blade washed in the blood of 1,000 revolutions, as a wave of popular outrage washes over me, as my head tumbles down the steps of the scaffold. We take up the sword, and by it we shall perish. Once we struck down the imperial scum, but now it is we who must face the blade. The insurgent beast called revolution will never be sated. It needs new victims. This time, it's my comrades and I. The cruelty of the hoarders in power echoes in the cruelty of the paupers, now intoxicated by their own freedom. We wanted change? Well, here it is. This is a country now of mad fanatics, fighting their treacherous past every day. Former friends are today's foes. My workshop has been converted into a secret headquarters. If I could do it all over again, I would repair to my easel and refrain from the cause that has sent me down this path.
I'll watch your back.
I'll split you in half!
Smile. The world's not ending just yet.
Well,
Cover me, all right?
much longer, I wonder? Follow me or don't. Move aside.
I was never good at stealth, but I'll try.
Smear them.
Can't you just die already?
I'll cut you wide open! The spirits demand your blood!
I don't like you. Sneaking.
A bright future awaits us. Anything new? Oh no,
Stab you or zap you? Why not both? Distract them from me!
The waiting is never fun.
Turi.
Out of my way!
Excruciating.
into the fray!
Time to share your treasures!
You should have listened to reason.
How much longer, I wonder?
I will help where I can. Tashani Savi.
Rules are made to be broken.
Skip the pleasantries.
Magritio, Turinos.
I heed the voice of the spirits. You are today's sacrifice!
Cover me, all right?
I'll split you in half! Follow me, or don't.
Stab you or zap you? Why not both?
No glory without risk!
Go for their hearts!
Move aside. Make way. I appreciate privacy.
Together, we stand.
I welcome your company.
Distract them for me.
No reason to pause.
The paintings are right where I left them. Very good. Horgus thanks you for your help. There's something off about the paintings in front of you. The blonde-haired boy in the Gwyrm family colors doesn't look like Horgus in the least. The family portrait depicts Horgus alongside an unknown half-elf woman and a little girl who bears a striking resemblance to Camellia.
Father, you can drop the act. Your little farce fell apart the moment we entered this room. Our friend isn't blind. I am certain he has already noticed that the girl in the family portrait bears a striking resemblance to myself. And that the blonde-haired boy in the Gwyrm family colors doesn't look like you in the least.
You seem to be anxious to reveal our private matters to a stranger, Camellia. Horgus sighs and presses his lips into a hard line. You see, I have two secrets. Camellia is, in fact, my daughter. And I am not the real Horgus Gwyrm. My real name is Darian Wytt. My parents were the servants of the real Gwyrms, at their mansion on the eastern edge of Mendef. The Gwyrms were generous and noble, but short-sighted. They burned through most of their fortune on charity, when instead they should have taken better care of guarding the mansion. When I was 10 or so, I used to play in the garden with the real Horgus Gwyrm, who was just my age. I've no idea where the demons came from. Horgus ran to the mansion, and I bolted in the opposite direction. He was captured and killed, and I wasn't. Horgus shrugs apologetically. Crusaders came from the nearest city to aid us, but I was the only one who survived. They asked me my name, and I said I was Horgus Gwyrm. That's the whole story.
Such a heart-wrenching tale. It never fails to bring tears to my eyes.
You are in no position to judge me, Camellia. Horgus's hands curl into fists, but his voice sounds more tired than angry.
You're right. I'm not.
Duran's expression is strained as he listens to Horgus's confession. A small boy in a manor under attack by demons, such a familiar tale. Mendef has many such tales, but there are rarely any survivors. Take poor Horgus, for instance, he didn't make it. You were fortunate, Count. Assuming you're not hiding anything. Horgus gives an awkward shrug, making it clear he was speaking in jest. Exactly. I wish I had your luck. Horgus winces. Praise from a follower of Norgorber seems more damning than the harshest condemnation from any other quarter. But I fear it's no less than my actions deserve. It is difficult for me to speak openly about secrets which I have kept all these years. I have been hostage to them my entire life, strange as that sounds. When I was a boy, I used to hate Horgus. The condescension most of all. The pity on his face. His smile when he called me to join him in his games. The difference in our birthright wasn't fair. Envy clouded my mind. When the demons killed him and not me, and I thought it was a gift of fate. I seized my good fortune with both hands and never let go. When I told them my name was Horgus Gwyrm, the only heir to the vast fortune of the Gwyrm family, on that day, life was fair. Unfortunately, it took me many years to see the generosity behind the condescension, and feel the compassion behind the pity. I discovered far too late that Horgus was my friend, even when I didn't feel myself his. I never accepted the hand of friendship he offered until it was far too late. But now what can I do? Reveal the truth, reject the name, and allow it to sink into oblivion? Would my friend Horgus want this? Horgus shakes his head, tired. I bear the name of Horgus Gwyrm with the pride and dignity it deserves. As a banner on a battlefield. I will multiply its merits. The Gwyrm family will not be forgotten. I still serve Horgus Gwyrm. Horgus attempts a smile, but the result is pathetic. Yes. Illegitimate, that is to say. Horgus's cheeks redden. She has resided in this house since birth. The staff thought she was a niece, or the daughter of a friend who died in the Crusades. I never disabused them of their notions. Her mother, Iris, was a half-elf of humble origins. She worked in the gardens here. I wanted to unite the Gwyrm family with another noble line. The Gwyrm name could not be permitted to mix with commoners and thereby plunge into insignificance. Iris did not protest, and we successfully hid our connection. And when Camellia was born, I did not claim her as my own. As far as Mendaf knows, Camellia is the daughter of a Gwyrm family servant who died over 10 years ago. And before you start telling me what a terrible father I am, I want to tell you something. My daughter wanted for nothing. All her whims were fulfilled as quickly as they arose. I hired the best teachers and bought her the best books. She always ate well and had warm clothes. Isn't that what a parent does?
You've discovered my most terrible secret. Father cares so much about the Gwyrm name that he raised me in our mansion, hiding me away from the whole world. I'll always be grateful to my father for everything he's done for me, even if Mendaf society disapproves of some of his decisions. Would it be insolent of me to beg for your discretion regarding what you know about us?
Damn it all, and I thought Horgus as dull as ditch water. But now he brings this delightful offering of a stolen identity, a secret half-elf lover, and a bastard daughter. I'm afraid you'd rather put me to shame. The hint of a smile plays on Camelia's mouth.
Please accept my humblest thanks. Keeping secrets is easiest when you don't know about them in the first place, or if you possess the unique ability to selectively forget information. Like me.
Ninio blinks a few times.
What was I saying? Never mind.
Camelia's whisper is barely audible.
Keeping secrets is even easier if you're dead.
Horgus casts a wary look at her, but remains silent. Well, first and foremost, I shall reward you handsomely for your help. And then, I shall burn these portraits. I have kept them all this time out of misplaced sentiment, but they serve no purpose now. My ravaged home will likely be picked to the bone and the secret room will inevitably be discovered. I don't want these paintings to be seen by anyone else. Well, you certainly earned your payment. Here. It was a pleasure doing business with you. Horgus is silent for a while. Camellia. I can tell from your face that you enjoyed fighting the demons in this worthy party. I only ask one thing, are you certain? Camellia doesn't answer but looks at Horgus with a half-smile lingering on her lips. Well then. Clearly, I can no longer keep you safe. Our house is destroyed, our servants scattered or dead. Horgus stares into his daughter's face, as though he is seeking the answer to an unasked question. Then he turns his attention to you. But now, follow me. We'll make sure that no one ever again discovers the secrets of Horgus Gwyrm.
cannot help but think that everything happening right now will one day end up in the history books. And under the stern gaze of the schoolmaster, little Mendevians will read, "On such and such a day, the heroes stopped to camp here and there." And the little blighters will be thoroughly bored, and so they will begin doodling in the margins. And the only picture of yours truly in the book will be adorned with a mustache. So much for the rewards of heroism.
How much longer, I wonder?
Smile. The world's not ending just yet.
Follow me, or don't.
Can we retreat already? Share your treasures! Cover me, all right? stab you or zap you. Why not both?
I'll cut you wide open!
Condition is
So this is
irrational.
how it feels?
My legs are shaking.
Well?
I'm here. Where else would I be?
I'll watch your back.
Now what?
Huh? Oh, yes, what?
Breathe!
You can trust me.
Smile, the world's not ending just yet.
Who, me?
Move aside!
Let's have some fun!
cover me, all right?
Damn it,
I dedicate my body to science.
Move aside! Never a dull moment.
The light take you! The Inheritor, guide my blade!
Cover me, all right?
Once. Don't worry about me.
I dedicate my body to science.
No glory without risk!
This is how it feels.
Ask nicely.
I will help where I can.
I will not expect my strike.
I refuse to accept their statement.
me, all right?
Smear them.
This is irrational.
All your fault.
This is how it feels.
No glory without risk!
You require my unbiased opinion?
Don't mind me. Stab you or zap you? Why not both?
Out of my way! Move aside!
Well?
The world must be cleansed. Starting with my immediate vicinity.
Rules are made to be broken.
Magritio, Turinos.
Distract them for me!
We will win this war.
I'll split you in half!
I will help where I can.
You are my favorite aide. You require my unbiased opinion? Open your heart to me.
Smile. The world's not ending just yet.
Manishrim Sukino.
I welcome your company. Missed me already.
Ask nicely.
Are we ready to move out?
Ona Adayanon. Rely on me.
Cover me, all right? Stab you or zap you. Why not both?
I'll split you in half!
Into the fray!
I'll get you wide open!
Tactical retreat! No?
my sight!
What a discovery.
The Inheritor, guide my blade! Down.
The spirits demand your blood!
Listen.
Now, what is that?
Anevia. If you're reading this, know that I'm alive and I'm rallying a troop of survivors to rise to the city's defense. We're going to fight our way to the Defender's Heart Tavern, set up our command there, and hold the line until help arrives, or if the goddess wills it, we'll launch an attack on the Grey Garrison. I love you, and I trust that we will see each other again in this world. Irabeth.
How much longer, I wonder?
A bright future awaits us.
I'll watch your back. Anything new?
Distract them from me.
Mind over muscle. You are today's sacrifice.
The light, take you!
Follow me! Or don't.
The priest studies your face carefully. You look tired, but otherwise entirely healthy. If we were anywhere else, I would simply tell you to get some rest, but we are on the border of the world wound and I'm all too aware of what's happening to you. As you know, the wound is a rip between Golarion and the Abyss, and all the evil that feeds the Abyss does the opposite in our world, it feeds on Golarion. So it is that even when we cannot see demons near us, our ultimate foe, the Abyss, is always surrounding us. Many soldiers fighting in the world wound experience similar things, they suffer terrible nightmares, get no peace, and sometimes even lose their minds. But we are trained to help you with this affliction. By the will of Abadar, I have consecrated an altar here. The God's grace permeates the space around it, soothing one's soul and quieting thoughts during rest. So, if you find your nerves are fraying, seek out a holy place like this, approach it, and all the corruption will be cleansed from you.
aside. Make way.
You've discovered my most terrible secret. Father cares so much about the Gwyrm name that he raised me in our mansion, hiding me away from the whole world. I'll always be grateful to my father for everything he's done for me, even if Mendef society disapproves of some of his decisions. Would it be insolent of me to beg for your discretion regarding what you know about us?
Camelia's words are polite, but her tone grows cold and sharp.
Let us keep this as our little secret. I assure you, my father and I appreciate loyalty and decency. For both myself and my father, I thank you for your understanding. How kind of you to share that you've gone through the Gwyrm's dirty laundry and drawn some bizarre conclusions. If you value my company, please refrain from making such insinuations in the future.
Look, Chief, I got something to show you. Ta-da! A real beaut, isn't it? Thieves have their ways. Oh, that cuts me deep, Chief. You and I saw who the traitor was. It's just that when we robbed the shop, I went in first and took what I wanted. Nothing wrong with that. Although, of course, I did think about hiding the moon and just taking myself off somewhere warm when all this blows over. But only because I want to see the world. Is it a crime to want to travel? Huh? Is that what counts for treachery these days? Since that night, Chief, Melround didn't even set eyes on it. While he was dealing with the golem, I sneaked past them, and that was that. Psst, what? So she would slay me right away, you mean? You saw how antsy she was over Kenebras and all this. So I did it. I took the Moon of the Abyss. But I didn't go to Erebeth, and Big Sister wouldn't hear my explanations. She doesn't have the time. I even thought I'd hide the moon somewhere, and then when all the noise had died down, I'd go get it and make a run for it. I'm sick of the thieflings, and they never appreciated me anyway. Why, he asks? It's expensive, pretty. And you know, it's my amulet, actually. Not meaning I stole it, but I mean, this is my inheritance. My grandma and I were poor. All we had was a jewelry box with the moon in it. She used to store it under the floor in the basement, and she'd take it out sometimes just to look at it. She was always nicer when she had a few drinks in her, so I could ask her things then. One time I asked where she got it from, and she said it was from a demon. You know, the demon who was my grandfather. He said the moon was to be passed down. My mom was good for nothing and nobody, so that's why Grandma decided to keep the amulet for me. She used to say it would be mine when I grew up. But she couldn't wait until I grew up. She squandered my inheritance when she became a drunk. Took it to Fileman's shop and pawned it. He gave her some coppers for it, and she didn't even haggle. Just grabbed them and ran back to the tavern before last orders. I've been going to Fileman's to look at the moon ever since I was a kid. He chased me away, but I just kept going back, so eventually he gave up. He didn't skimp on security. The place was like a fortress, so he wasn't worried about a street rat like me pinching anything. Even when I got more skilled, I couldn't get any closer to it. One day, I had no one to go with. Another day, there were only oafs who'd never stolen anything more than a church donation box. But when Charisme had planned everything out, I realized I had a chance to get the moon and move away from here. Maybe to Garen. I hear it's warmer there. I've stayed with the family for too long. This isn't just some shiny trinket. First, maybe some rich person's just dying to buy it. We need to put out some feelers and see if anyone's in the market. Second, maybe it'll come in handy. And besides, I spent so many years looking at it. I imagine things like, what if my grandfather left something else and my grandma spent that too? Maybe I could have had my own barony already if things had turned out differently. Or got some decent education in the capital. They're all just dreams, but the moon is right here. You've got to hold on to what's yours, Chief. Allies, friends, it's all a load of crap. Life brings us together, forces us to make plans, do whatever it is we do, but it's a safe bet that this ain't forever. I might be a traitor, but the others, are they any better than me? Melround had a good reputation in the family. He was trusted, and you see what happened. If you abide by the law, anyone can rob you. So you need to break the law first when no one expects it, and run before you go soft and get too attached. Whatever you think, I owe you. I'm not just a thief, I have my own business selling things. Thanks to you, I'm still in the family, and we have the black market sewn up in this city. It's a good way to sell valuables. So, if you need anything, a scroll or something, just say the word. I have a little portal to our people in Nerosian. You put a note there, and you get what you need. I can't get you anything big, but what they do have is all high quality. Nothing's too good for you, Chief. What's mine is yours. For a price, of course.
Woljif's face breaks into a happy grin. Look, Chief. The thieflings have all the best things.